I'm Pika sir. So today I'm going to upload the second part of this chapter, the Nazism and the rise of the Hitler. So let's start the chapter, the political radicalisms and the economical crisis. I have told you in the earlier that birth of the Weimar Republic, coincided, the revolutionary uprising of the Spartacist League, and they wanted the Soviet style of the solutions, and they wanted to bring the changes because they didn't like the Weimar Republican government. So Soviet workers and the workers and the sailors and other people of the Germany, they founded different Soviets in different cities. They started demonstrations, they started picketing, rally in the heart of the Berlins, and those who supported the Weimar Republican government, they, like Democrats, Catholics, and Socialists, they met in the Weimars once again to give the shape to the democratic republics. Now, Weimar Republic crushed these kind of violations or the radicalisms against the Weimar Republican government with the help of the war veteran organizations, which was called as the Free Corps. For it, now, due to this political radicalism, we have seen, that one kind of hyperinflation started in the Germany because of the reckless printed currency notes to, stop the inflation rate of the Germany. But it became reverse. So that's why every month we have seen that hyperinflation, rose to high and high. So what does mean the hyperinflation? It is a kind of situation when prices rise phenomenally high. So German currency, German economy totally became failure. So that's why America intervened this and bailed Germany out of the crisis by introducing the Davos plan. So America was trying to help. Otherwise, there was the problem. There would be the okay. Now this the year 1924 to 1928, German currency saw some kind of stability, and though it was built on the stand, actually German investment, industrial recovery were totally dependent on the U.S. Davos plan. But in the year of 1929, Wall Street exchange crashed, actually falling the fell in prices. People made frantic efforts to sell their shares. So that's why in the single day, 24th October, 13 million shares were sold, and it started the Great Depressions. It started the Great Depression in the world. Definitely, even this economical crisis created deep anxieties and the fears in the people, especially the middle classes. Salaried employed, pensionaries saw that their savings could diminish when the currency lost its value. Even small businessmen, small entrepreneurs, they their business totally ruined. Now, another situation created, it is called the proletarianization. It was a kind of anxiety of being reduced to the ranks of the working class, or still the unemployed. Now, this kind of situation was there, and Weimar Constitution, Weimar Republican government also failure to, solve these kind of issues. And though Weimar Republican Constitution that had some inherent defects, like Article 48 told clearly that if any kind of unstable situation created in the Germany, then president rule would be, started. And Weimar Republican government, organized 239 meetings in a single year, though total problems they had not been solving. They were not able to solve the problem economically, politically, socially. Germany totally lost, and people lost their confidence on Weimar Republican government. That was the situation after 1929 when Great Depression occurred, not only in the Germany, in the around the world. So now Hitler rise to the power. I have told you Hitler was a very powerful speaker. He was born in the year 1889 and belonged to a very poor family. So that's why at the age of I think 14 or 16 he joined the army as a messenger. Okay, then he was involved in the First World War also. But the German defeat horrified him. German defeat, gave him some kind of frantic, anxiety. So even he didn't believe in the versatility. So finally, 1919, he joined a small political groups, German Workers' Party. But very soon, he took over the organizations and renamed it as the National Socialist German Workers' Party. This party, later popularly known as the Nazi political party. Now, 1923, Hitler wanted to seize the power of the Bavaria, but he was failed and he was arrested. Though later, after 6 months, he released. So this Nazi political party couldn't mobilize the people regarding the current issues because still people believe in the Weimar Republican government. But in the 1928 one election conducted, though the Nazi political party got 2.6% vote. But finally, after the Great Depression, 1932, once again, election was conducted and it became the largest party. That means Nazi political party became the largest political party and they got, that 37% vote. Now Hitler was a very, very powerful speaker. He promised to build a strong nation economically, politically, socially also. And he told that if he would be in the power, he took revenge for Versailles Treaty, and he promised that full employment for those youth generations who want to work. So people definitely started believing him, and people didn't have the choice. And Hitler also knew the pulses of the people actually. So new style of the policies he introduced, like the Nazi salute, the red banner flag, and every month, every week they organize the meeting to mobilize the peoples, and they hold the swastika symbols. They Hitler believed that they are the holders of the Aryan civilization. Different kind of things are there. Okay, so in this way, Hitler became very, very popular leader in the Germany after 1932. Now, finally, the destruction of the democracy, because Hitler didn't believe in the democracy. So that's why when he became the supreme leader of the Germany, then 30 January 1933, President Hindenburg offered him. This is the picture of the President Hindenburg. He offered him the chancellorship. So chancellorship is the supreme positions of the country. Now Nazi had managed to rally the conservatives to their cause. So Hitler became the chancellor. Hitler became the one and only. Okay. Now, suddenly one incident happened. A mysterious fire, broke out in the German parliament, Reichstag. And Hitler given excuse that this had done by the opponent or opposition, like communists, socialists, or Democrats. So that's why he suspended all the civic rights and capture all the communist people, send them to the newly established concentration camps in the Polands. And 3rd March, it will be 1933. I have written this 1993. The famous Enabling Act was passed, and this act officially gave him the power of the dictatorship. After the power of the dictatorship, Hitler suspended all the civic rights. Once again, Hitler suspended all the political parties except Nazi Party and its affiliated. Followed, now dictatorship officially started from the 3rd January, 3rd March onwards. Now, to rule properly in the Germany, he started special surveillance and security forces. Many new security forces organizations also he started, like SA, Green Uniform, Stormtrooper, Gestapo, SS, Criminal Police, Security Service, and Hitler had given them the extra constitutional power. That means any kind of things they could do for the sake of the Nazi political party. That was the propaganda or the ideology of the Nazi. In that way, we have seen that democracy which was present from 1918 to 1931, he destructed because he started the followed. Now reconstructions, because Hitler promised to the people na, that he would build the strong nations economically also. So definitely he had fulfilled this promise, and he had given this responsibility to the great economics, Hazelmas Sketchet. Their aim was full productions. So as a result, we have seen that the famous German superhighway project was you know inaugurated, and the first people's car Volkswagen. That was a great achievement, definitely. And the economical crisis day by day reducing without the help of the foreign countries. That was the great, till now. The Volkswagen is the best, one of the best car company in the world. For it. Now, foreign policy. In foreign policy, Hitler got very quick success because he pulled out from the League of the Nations, which was founded in the year of 1918. Okay, he pulled out the League of the Nations in the 1933 and reoccupied all the Germans area which was occupied by the Allied power. Then he integrated the Austria and made the slogans: one empire, one leader, and one nation and one people. Then he also captured the Czechoslovakia. Okay, and in that way, he became one of the very powerful leader in the Europe during that time. Though from the 1919 or 1920, Germany got the unspoken support from the Britons. Okay, because Britain believed or thought that definitely what happened in the fertility with the Germany, that was not good. So that's why. But um, unspoken support, Germany got. But in the year of 1938, I think so, Hazelmas Cachet advised that in what way you are going now, that is not good. So Hitler told him that if you are against the Germany, if you are speaking against the Nazi, that means you don't have any right to live in the Germany. So you had to leave. Okay, and in front of the Hitler, there are the two options: either choose the war or the negotiations, or the negotiation. Follow it. So in that way, he chose the war and invaded the Poland, 1939 September. So when he invaded the Poland, then Allied power, that means Britain and the France, started the Second World War against the Germany and Italy, because in that time one tripartite pact also signed between Germany, Italy, and Japan. If any kind of problem arise, then these three countries will help each other. Now, by the end of the 1940, definitely Hitler was the pinnacle of his power. He 1941 he invaded the Soviet Russia. That was the blunder mistake of him. That's why Western front of the Germany, became were open for the France and the Britain. And finally, in the year of 1944, Hitler committed suicide and German army surrendered. And 1945, 6th August and 9th August, two atomic bomb was dropped finally in the Japan, and Japan also surrendered. In this way, Second World War finished. Now, Nazi worldview or expansion of the Nazi power 1943, I have explained. You can see that the map, you know, it's a kind of, and here you can see that how or why he wanted to capture Poland, Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria, Armenia, Greece, Turkey, all this part where, actually agriculturally prosperous area. So that's why he wanted to capture these things. Now, Nazi worldview. What was the worldview of the Nazi? Because the crimes that Nazi committed, it was a kind of belief of the system for them. They believe a particular system. So, what is this Nazi ideology? Obviously similar to the Hitler's worldview. So, according to their ideology, that there was no equality between the people, but only a racial hierarchy. That means rank-wise race. That point number one, it is the pure-blooded Nordic German Aryan. That means you should have blondie hair, blue eyes. So then you can be called as the pure-blooded Aryan Nordic German people. And after that, there will be undesirable people like police, Russian, black color people, Indians, and at the bottom there was the Jews, lowest rank, because according to them, Jews is the major problem for the Christians, so that's why they didn't have any right to live in this world. Now, Hitler's racism borrowed from the thinkers like Darwin and the Herbert Spencer. Now, Darwin was a natural scientist, as you all know, that he explained the theory of the evolutions and the natural selections. And Herbert Spencer also added the idea survival of the fittest. Simple. But according to this idea, or according to the idea of the Nazi, only those species survive on the earth could adapt themselves to changing climatic conditions. So we should bear in the mind that it's a completely natural process. But their idea were used by the racist. Their idea were used by the racist thinker and politician to justify that imperial rule over conquered, people. And Nazi argument was very simple. That strongest race means German. So they have the only right to live in this world. They have the right to conquer all the parts of the world because other people were not so strong or the enough powerful. So they are the powerful. So that means survival of the fittest. They would survive. That was their thinking. Even Hitler ideology also related to the geopolitical concept. One of the famous geopolitical concept is the Lebensraum. That means living space. He believed that new territories. Why he wanted to? He given the excuse that why he wanted to capture the new territories, Poland, Ukraine, or Lithuania, Estonia, Finland, because they needed for settlement, and because needed the settlement and new land retain and new resources wanted for pure-blooded German Aryan people. So that's why he invaded these all things. So this was the Nazi world, as we all know, right? Now we'll talk about the establishment of the racial state. Okay, once Hitler in the power, Nazi quickly, very fastly, began to implement their dream to create an pure Germans Aryan racial community. Okay, but how? To eliminate all those undesirable and the subhuman groups and definitely Jews. Okay, because Nazi wanted only a society of pure and healthy Nordic Aryans. Okay, and they alone were considered desirable. Okay, now Jews were not the only community classified as undesirable. There were others also, like Gestapo or black living people in the Nazi Germany. They were also racial inferiors. Okay, they had to send. They also sent to the concentration camp. Okay, and they were widely persecuted. Even Russian and Poles were also considered subhuman groups. Okay, so with when Germany occupied the Poland and the parts of the Russia, all the civilians captured and forced to work or as the slave laborers. For it, now Jews remained the worst sufferer in the Nazi Germany because Nazi hatred the Jews in such a way that he believed that crucifixion of the Jesus Christ had done by the Jews. So they didn't have any right to live. Jews problem had no solution. So eliminate all the Jews. From 1933 to 1938, we have seen the Nazi terrorize and more than 60 lakh people, 60 lakh Jews were killed or persecuted by the concentration camp of the Gestapo chamber, or sorry, the gas chamber. So here you can see the two images that Jews being killed in Nazi Germany, and this is one of the fright cars used to deport Jews to the death chambers. Followed? Now, we'll talk about the racial utopian vision. I have explained in the class that what does mean the utopia. Utopia means which kind of ideology can never be fulfilled. Okay, can never be fulfilled. So ideal that can never be fulfilled. So this is called the utopian vision. So what was the racial utopian vision? Under the shadow of the war, that means Second World War, during the Second World War, Nazi proceeded that this kind of murders was very it's illegal. It's a racist ideal. So that's why genocide and the war become two sides of the same coin. They occupied the Poland, divided off, and set up the concentration camps, sent all the captured people to the concentration camp, and one by one, they sent to the gas chambers. Now, others part of the Germany was also known as the general government, the destination of the all the undesirable of the empire. So, in that way, racial utopian vision he wanted to start like Poland and Lithuania, Bosnia, these kind of countries were occupied because Hitler wanted to create, such kind of area where undesirable people would live with the permission of the Hitler. For now, this is the gas chamber. You can see. Okay, this is the gas chamber where Jews were killed. It's a horrible situation. Definitely, what had done by the Hitler that was should not be, mercy. Should not give to him the mercy because this is a kind of gas chamber and more than 200 people were, you know, sent them in this very narrow area and release the gas chamber, release the poisonous gases. This is horrible. Now we'll talk about the steps to death. I have already explained that exclusion 1933 to 1939. This 6 year he passed different kind of laws like Nuremberg laws of citizenship in the year of 1935. What was that? Point number one: only persons of German or related blood would henceforth be German citizen. Otherwise not. Okay, and then marriages between Jews and the Germans were totally prohibited. Point number three, extramarital affairs between Jews and the Germans became a crime. Point number four, Jews were forbidden to fly the national flag. Even all the Jewish people were sent to the ghettos. Ghettos is a place or the area fixed by the Nazi where all the Nazi people had to leave from the September 1941, and there were no facilities of the foods or the waters or any kind of thing. So with hunger, starvation, disease due to the deprivation and the poor hygiene, many Nazi many Jewish people were died. Even they had stopped the synagogues. Synagogues means the temples of the Jews. Temples of the Jews. See that this is a kind of park benches written that only for the Aryans. So in that way, racial discrimination they started. You know that was very very bad things, and you can see the images in the book that crore of pairs of the shoes or the clothes were taken away from the Jews before sending them to the gas chambers. Right? It's against the humanity, and definitely it should not be. We'll pray that this kind of situation will not or never will come back to the world. Now, annihilation part, you can see that image. One man is trying to escape from the fencing, but fencing was electrifying, so that's why he was killed. And you can see that the piles of the cloth outside the gas chamber. This is the pictures of the gas chamber or concentration chamber. You can see. Okay, so basically this kind of gas chambers or concentration chamber you can find out in the Poland, like Belzug, Auschwitz, Sobibor, Treblinka, Chelmo, Mazdanek. Okay, and they were charred in the gas chamber. Mass killing took place within these places. So it's a horrible. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope what I'm trying to explain you have understood. So if you have any questions or query, definitely you can ask me through my WhatsApp number or you can call me directly. Thank you very much. So stay happy, stay safe.